I'm Edie Lush. I'm the executive editor of Hub Culture. Absolutely delighted to be here with Eric Garcetti. Thanks so much for coming along,
Absolutely.
Mayor
Thank
of
you.
LA.
Great to be with you. And I know you spent some time in LA, so.
I have spent some to go Bruins.
Yes, go Bruins.
Tell me, as you were chair of C40, about the race to zero that you led with cities all around the world.
I think it's a really depressing moment, but cities come with a real message of hope. You know, it's like this moment of despair where people are asking, can we meet this? National governments are falling short on their commitments, whether it's to reducing emissions or funding the global south. But I say, if you want to be inspired, look to cities. Cities, you can't BS. If there's a pothole, you can't put it off for 20 years. You have to fill it tomorrow. And so mayors are doers. And I've been surrounded by this sister and brother mayors around the world who are kind of putting the ideas and the implementation of reducing emissions into action. So one country in the world has reduced their emissions to the level that the Paris commitments are, the Gambia. Every other country has not. But of the 97 megacities of the world that comprise C40, over 2/3 of us have. And I don't say that to shame those other countries. I'm a proud American. It's to inspire our national leaders that they can meet this moment, that they can do this work. And so this Cities Race to Zero, we not only took the 97 C40 cities, we expanded to 1,049 cities that took that pledge, which we believe is the largest pledge at COP outside the national commitments.
What kind of message does that send? 1,049 cities are drastically reducing their emissions. What kind of message does that send to national governments?
Well, because we're cities from every nation almost, you have richer cities, less rich cities, you've got from every geography and culture of the world. You can't say you can't do it if your cities can. And if you combine that, it's about 733 million people. The UN just gave us analysis yesterday. That it's the equivalent of taking a country between the fourth and fifth biggest emitter in the world and zeroing out their emissions. So for those big countries who are saying we can't do it, yes you can. For smaller countries who are saying we can't do it, you absolutely can. We have countries that almost every city signed on to it. Denmark, which is a small country, 96 of their 98 cities are now implementing this work.
I wonder who those two cities are, right?
Who they are and like why.
Who are these guys?
They're probably always the ones that say no matter what it is. They don't want to go with the cool kids. So but you look also in less wealthy countries, and whether it's Freetown, Sierra Leone, leading the way, planting 1 million trees and doing the hard work. So this is not only possible, we have to do this if we're going to meet the mark.
Give me an example of what's sometimes called reverse engineering, a solution that you've seen from a poorer part of the world or a poorer part of a rich country transferred to a richer place in the world in terms of ambitious solutions to climate change.
Well, I'll give you an example of China, which is somewhere in between. Shenzhen is the first city for all the taxis and buses to be fully electric. So when people say, oh, you can't do that, yes, you can. And Bogota has the second biggest, outside of China, have the most electric buses in the world, over 1,000 of them. And they've done that just in a few years. So when people say, well, you have to build a charging infrastructure, I already have these buses and these old contracts, you can do this work if those places can do it. Then in a poor area of a city like mine, we put electric cars first into the poorest neighborhoods so that we have a car share program, all EV, zero emissions, with the chargers in front of apartments in dense communities of color that are lower income, so that this isn't just something for the Tesla owner, this is something for the working class member of the city in a poor area. So we're showing those examples that it's cheap enough, the engineering has been done. If you're not getting with this, you're losing jobs as well as missing money.
A lot of focus on getting money from the richer parts of the world to the poorer parts of the world. How ambitious does that transfer need to be?
If we don't fund the global south, all the gains the global north is going to brag about doing now can be completely washed out. The growth of the economies in China and India and Africa and Latin America, we could see the Earth still go way above 1.5 degrees Celsius. So we have to do it for ourselves as well as do it because we believe all human beings have a right to live healthy. And if we can find $13 trillion in a pandemic to address the pandemic, we can't even find $100 billion a year, which was a commitment I didn't make. It's the nations of the world have already made. So I think if we just live up to our word, accelerate our ambition, and we're trying to lead by example at C40, where we're committing 2/3 of our budget starting next year to the global south.
What are you most proud of in terms of climate as mayor of LA?
And I think that if I had to pick one thing, I'm probably proudest of building out in the car capital of America, a transportation network for the public. So we passed the largest infrastructure investment in American history ×2. We're building 15 rapid transit lines all at once, which has never been done in a single city in America. We have the Olympics and Paralympics coming in 2028, and we hope a lot of the lines can be done by then. But giving somebody an option not to just be stuck in traffic by themselves, burning gasoline into the air, I think will change the city and just improve the quality of life for everyone.